Hello there, my name is Sixo, but more on that later, as now it's time to bring you a brand new unboxing video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the latest masterpiece MP-10 Convoy repaint, that being MP-10DC Atmos Safari Duck Camo version. Now if all of that means precisely nothing to you, then it's all pretty simple. It's a tie-in with Nike Atmos trainers, with the toy's colour scheme being a recreation of their Atmos Safari Duck Camo version specifically. Of course, this isn't the first Atmos-styled MP10 release we've already seen, as last year TakaraTomy unexpectedly dropped MP10 ASL LeBron version 2, which was itself a tie-in with the corresponding pair of trainers. Wait, is trainers the right word now, or is it sneakers? I don't know, I know nothing about the shoes, and to be honest, I'm really not all that interested either. I just like funky-looking robots, and I'm a big fan of the MP10 design too, so if they keep pumping them out, then I'm all for it. In fact, we've previously seen designs for another 4 Atmos-inspired MP10s still yet to happen, with Elephant, Viotech, Black Tiger and Yellow Tiger all unveiled at various conventions over the last year or so. At this point, I'm really not sure when, or indeed if, any of these are going to make it to market, but here's hoping, as they all look gloriously gaudy, and honestly I just can't get enough of it all. See, here's the thing. Duck, as I shall now call him, is no less than the 14th repaint we've had of this toy from both TakaraTomy and Hasbro collectively, making it far away the most redone masterpiece design of them all. Now, every time the subject of another MP10 repaint rears its head, inevitably people on the interwebs say stuff like, "Oh, they're just milking the mold again, Hasbro suck." But the reality is that there are indeed plenty of us who just love seeing these kinds of weird and wonderful decos being created. It doesn't necessarily have to mean something or be a particularly clever reference to a special toy of days gone by. Sometimes cool-looking robots is just enough, you know? Oh, and if you think the sight of your beloved Autobot leader being pimped out for a trainer tie-in is too much to bear, then I got news for you. Prime and his mates have been shilling for other companies back since Transformers was first a thing, so it's really nothing new. Right, I promise I'm off my soapbox now, so let's crack on with the unboxing, shall we? The box is everything you'd expect from a Masterpiece Convoy release, with that beautiful black background slightly offset with an animal print motif on this occasion. On the back is the usual blurb about all of the toy's features, including a close-up of the figure itself that should be more than enough to whet your appetite. Right, so let's go ahead and get this guy cracked open, shall we? Now, I've been dead excited about this one, as actually I've had it on order for about 3.5 months, ever since it was first released in Japan. And because of all the recent, lockdown difficulties and what have you, it's taken that long to get to me. So it's really been quite a process. I did get a little bit nervous that it might not happen at least once, but fortunately it's made it here safe and sound, so that's good. So very excited. So we'll go ahead and get the box open. I have already cut the tape on the top because, full confession, after so long of it shipping here, I did just want to take a quick peek and make sure that all was okay. But I haven't yet removed the toy from the clamshell, so that's something to look forward to. But I'm sure, as you can appreciate, collectors out there, you just, after so long, want to make sure things are okay. So here are the instructions. I'm not going to take a look at those today, as, to be honest, those of you that know me will know I'm very familiar with this mold already. This is actually, it's my 14th version. I have all of them. So yeah, I hope anyway that I don't need the instructions by now. But there is the character card there on the back, should you like those kinds of things. There it is. Got to catch them all. So I'll put that to one side. Now, as I say, the toy is there. Looking rather fine, it has to be said. Still sealed in the clamshell, so I'm going to just go ahead and get that open. As usual, there's a bit of tape on the clamshell there. Kind of know what to expect now, I've been doing this so often. Not all the TakaraTomy, not all the MP10s are released by TakaraTomy, of course. A few of them from Hasbro, slightly different ones. Like the recent Ghostbusters version. Okay, here we go. And let's take a look. So, there's the toy itself. Wow, that really is quite the thing, quite the deco. I mean, look, I've seen a lot of pictures of this, and I've been looking forward to it for quite a bit of time. But often with these sorts of paint jobs, I think they really need to be seen in hand to be fully appreciated. That's all I'll say for now, but we'll come back to that in just a second. Right, we've also got, and I mean, look, if you know this mold, you know this toy, MP-10, or any of the Hasbro versions, you'll be well familiar with what's included. But he's got his Energon axe, I think it's called, the one from the original More Than Meets the Eye cartoon, the pilot episode. So there it is, decked out in a very kind of weird salmon color. I was going to say it's kind of pinky orange, but I think probably salmon is the best description for that. So there it is. Often these are kind of slightly translucent, but that one's opaque. We also have his blaster. There we go. Same sort of salmon color just there. And obviously this folds up and goes in his backpack. I'm sure we'll take a look at that in just a minute. And we have Matrix of Leadership. There you go. I wonder how many of these I have now. I dread to think, in all honesty, but hey, they're still a fun little accessory. This one's green with a little silver handles, and then it's got like again a sort of, well, it's translucent this time, but the similar sort of salmon color in the middle. Some of you may hate the look of this toy. That's fine. For me, as I say, I like this weird and wonderful stuff. So. Okay, so that's quite the package overall. Obviously the blaster, the matrix, the axe, all kind of expected, to be honest, and many of you will have been anticipating that. I have heard from at least one person that they had an additional, an extra matrix in the box as well. I don't know what's up with that, but I had a message from someone saying that happened to them. Weird. I guess these little factory mess-ups happen from time to time. So there you go. Okay, now it's time to take a look at the robot mode. And as I say, right off the bat, those colors are really quite something. I mean, again, I'm very familiar with this mold overall, but with every new version, a new color scheme brings new interest, I guess. And certainly these Atmos Safari designs are some of the more striking ones that we've seen. So first thing to mention, and I guess it's an interesting point because it's the same as a number of the sort of more special edition MP10s that we've seen, is that this is covered in paint, which is really, really nice. So if you have had this mold before and it's one of the more common versions like the Hasbro version of MP10, the standard red and blue camo, you may be aware that is unpainted for the most part. The red, for example, whereas actually Takara's is painted, but that's by the by. Or indeed things like the Shattered Glass version, the Year of the Horse version, no paint really on most of the body. Whereas actually the special versions, like most of the BAPE versions that we'll look at in just a minute, and indeed the LeBron Atmos Safari version that we've already seen, are really nicely painted, and it's quite a quality thick paint too, which is great. And so you've got paint all along these chest doors here, on the arms, along there, all along here as well, and it feels like, on the legs too, these bits obviously, I mean, some of it's obvious where you've got, highlights, paint applications, what have you, like these bits on the feet, but they don't have to do that, because it could just be bare plastic, and I'm sure a lot of people would be happy with that. But it does make the toys feel a bit more premium. So given that these are special editions, given that they're often a bit more exclusive or what have you, harder to get hold of, there's a slight feeling of reward with that as well. So that's good. Otherwise, he looks really quite something. I mean, there's a lot of little highlights and things here. Very mismatched green. It's quite weird because the green here is different to the green on the hands. The green here is different again. I'm just trying to look in the light, but it looks like even his fingers are a slightly different shade of green again to the rest of the hands. So that's quite weird. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I guess maybe this is, I'm not sure, but I think that might be a question of it's just unpainted. So, very mismatched green, but it works. I don't mind that. And, obviously a lot of it is intentional. Of course, he's got the Atmos logo just on the arm here, as you can see. And Autobot logo just here, really nicely cast in black with a white, well, sort of grey, not quite white, grey outline just there. That looks good. Nice paint applications on areas such as this, as you'd expect. And then some translucent plastic, like I think every version of MP-10. No, some of them are opaque on the arms, but certainly most of them have a translucent plastic on his hip section just here. And that looks really, really good. It's a kind of burnt orange, just to add a bit more colour in there, you know, because there wasn't enough. And then you've got that similar salmon colour. Well, actually, I say that, a bit different, kind of maybe a more sort of burnt copper in comparison to the weapons on these smokestacks just here. So that looks really lovely, actually, I have to say. You know, again, say what you will about this colour scheme. I think it looks great, but certainly that burnt copper bit looks really, really nice. Joints are super tight, really, really tight, which is great because, you know, if I'm honest, not every version of this mold has been, you know, the best. I wouldn't say it's been poor quality control on any of them, I don't think. I've not had any major problems, but certainly the tolerances have varied from copy to copy. You know, there have been some that have slightly looser limbs or maybe just don't feel as robust. But this one, to me, you know, straight off the bat, feels very much on a par with the 3 bait models, with LeBron Convoy, or LeBron Voy, if that's what you want to call him. So yeah. Coming around, you can just see that hint of those salmon-coloured wheels, or pink wheels. I'm hearing a lot of people on the internet say hot pink wheels, like that's the thing. And I don't know, they're not. Is that hot pink? You tell me. I mean, it doesn't look hot pink to me. I have a different vision of what hot pink is really meant to look like. Maybe, I don't know. But it certainly doesn't look hot pink to me. But yeah, there he is. So, of course, you know, head sculpt is what you'd expect from this toy. He's got the kind of old Takara dead eyes, very much like the original MP-10. You know, that's been a thing on a number of their versions of this design. Here, though, it kind of works, I have to say. You know, the original MP-10, the eyes do look a bit dead, and that's been a common complaint about that toy. But here it kind of works. It's sort of, I think it's because, you know, slightly weird color scheme, it sort of looks good. Oh, and slightly translucent green windshields as well, I just noticed there. So that's cool. And actually a slight green tint to the chrome even. I don't know if that shows up on the camera or not, but it's not straight silver like most models. Same on these bits here. That is actually slightly tinted green. So that's cool. Really love this, haven't put this out yet, but this camo here, that's really lovely done. So many MP-10s with camo now. I mean, the 3 Bapes all have it. The Bromvoy doesn't have camo, but it has the kind of animal print. And now this as well. So it's, you know, it's definitely a thing. Right, so we can go ahead and put his gun in his hand. There we go. Oh, I love this design. So there you go. That looks pretty good. Kind of what you'd expect, I guess. But, you know, fun all the same. It is a weird colour. Definitely is a weird colour. Don't know. And of course, if you really want to, and you've never seen this on MP-10 before, you can fold that up. Comme ça. And it goes in, get it the right way around, inside his backpack. And folds up like that. And then you just get this little nub that sticks out the back to let you know that the gun's in place, which is always kind of handy, actually. I found, having owned many versions of this mold, you know, sometimes you want to know, you look and you see the gun's not in their hand or whatever, and you think, wherever left it. And it's always kind of handy to be able to notice if it's in the backpack or not. So, hey. Otherwise, of course, you can close that fist. I'm interested, actually, because often, yeah, it's got, I was just going to say, I'm interested to see if the finger pops off. And it does. Common thing on this design, Takara have never, seemingly never wanted to alter it. It's weird because it's something that a number of the KOs of this mold, and there have been many, have corrected. But Takara have stuck with it. You know, they've stuck with it the whole way, which is having those fingers pop off so easily. And you know, again, if you do own this toy, you've got to be careful with those forefingers, because they will just pop off far too easily, in my opinion. But hey, okay, so let's put the axe on. There we go. Let's get that orientated correctly. There we go. Just slides over the fist. Super easy. Really nothing to it. Certainly easier to connect than MP-44. A lot of things about this toy are easier than MP-44. So, so there we go. Interesting to mention MP-44, because you know I know a lot of people will say, "Oh man, you know, you must be so worried about collecting every version of MP-44 now as well. They're going to do a black one, and you know, who knows what else." And maybe, I don't know. Like, I'm not really worried about it. I figure that, you know, if the toys look good, then yes, I will get them. If they don't, I won't. It's pretty much that simple. I mean, I guess with MP-10, it kind of became a bit of a thing for me to want to continue to collect them. But you know, I always said if one of them didn't look good to my eye, then I don't feel the need to own them all, certainly. So it just happens that so far every one that they've done, I think, is just kind of great, even if they're sort of weird and wonderful, you know, they still just look a bit unusual. I've always really liked them, but certainly with MP-44, I'm not feeling the same pull. The black version looks fine, but we'll see. So yeah, there's the axe. Kind of looks as I expected, so we'll just slide that off. No trailer with this one. Forgot to mention that earlier, but of course, a number of the MP-10 releases don't come with trailers. In fact, I think just thinking through it, you know, there's less that do than don't, which is probably a good thing actually, because yeah, I already have far too many of those trailers as it is, and they take up a lot of space. Right, let's go ahead and open up his chest. Like that, and again you can see, so you know, actually I said earlier that the windows were tinted green, but actually it is mostly the chrome. I think the windows are slightly still tinted as well, or am I just dreaming that now? Hard to tell. Hard to tell. But certainly yeah, so sorry, most of the green is actually from there, so I may have been wrong before, but I could admit it. So there we go, and then we've always got the fun challenge of getting this little bit open. Oh, hang on, just going to bring it around here so I can get to it. Okay, so I've actually been trying for several solid minutes now to get that open, and it will not budge. You know, very weird. It's always been a tricky one on every version of this design to get open, but I've never struggled like that before, so I don't know if it's just particularly stiff or what it is, but I just can't get it to budge. And given the, you know, the kind of high-end nature of this toy, I'm not going to force it on camera and make it happen. So, you know, I'll just give it another go later when I've got a bit more time. So, you know, for now, you can just kind of imagine what the Matrix would look like there in his chest. Little visual indication for you. There you go, little mock-up. But yeah, it's probably best to not force it for now. There we go. So we're just going to close the doors back up. Interesting to note that actually these ones sit really flush, so that's good. Because, you know, on some versions of this toy, that's not always the case, including, I forget if it's my original Takara or Hasbro version offhand, but it's one of them certainly that the doors don't quite sit flush. So that's always nice. So yeah, overall, I think he's looking really, really good, I have to say. Big fan of that. I mean, look, I know it's another repaint and what have you. You know, it's a well-trodden mold. It's one I know exceedingly well, but it makes me happy. So that's good. Right, let's do a few comparisons. So first up, we have the original MP-10, and this is the Takara version of MP-10. Just put them to the back there. There we go. So you can see him versus the original MP-10. So this is with the, as I say, this version is painted on the chest. It's got the darker blue along here on the legs and the hands and head and what have you. So versus Hasbro's version. But yeah, he's got the signature Takara dead eyes as well. But, you know, still really like this version overall. But yeah, there you go. Bit of a comparison of those two. If we shunt him along a little bit, we'll make room for one more. And here is Le Bromvoy, which was the previous Atmos Safari tie-in. So this is MP-10ASL, which, you know, I really like. I have to say, I really, really dig this toy. The yellow, kind of orangey, burnt yellow that they've got going on is just really, quite something in hand. It's a very, very striking toy. A lot of people sort of criticize the kind of flesh color on some of the, some of the bottom half here, particularly this bit, which, once you notice it, is hard to unsee. But, all the same, I think it looks great, I have to say. And there's those three all together. And certainly Duck on the left here is very, very different. So let's take the original one out so you can just see these two together. And I really do hope that they get around to releasing the rest of these Atmos Safari designs, because I think they're a lot of fun. Certainly they look really, really great. So I'd certainly hope it happens, but these are the two that we've had so far. But why stop there? Because of course we've got plenty more to do. So here he is with one of my personal favorites. These smokestacks are forever falling down. This is one of my personal favorites. This is the black Bape version. A lot of people say, is it really black? But yeah, it is grey, or it is a kind of a very, very warm, dark grey, almost like a blue tint to it. Not quite, but almost. But it's just known as black version. That's what Takara have called it. So, so there you go. That's those two together. I really like this one. It's one of my favorites. Have to say, really striking in hand. Just looks great. Just the colours, the slightly muted grey highlights that you've got just here really set it off superbly well. Just think it looks brilliant. Honestly, love it. And again, it's loaded in paint, which is really, really nice as well. A lot of people wonder about what the Bape ones are all about, but of course that is a tie-in with a Japanese clothing store as well, Bape, if you've never heard of it. And of course they did do G1 versions of those toys as well. Of the original G1 Convoy or Optimus Prime. They did the black one, the red one, and the green one. So you can also get those as well. So we're just going to pop him there. Then we have the red version, red Bape. There we go. Looking pretty good. None of these are KOs, by the way. I don't actually have any KOs of this mold, in case you're wondering. I don't. So yeah, there's the red Bape. Funny one, I remember when this first came out, and one of the funniest comments I read was just someone saying, of all the colours they didn't need to repaint Optimus Prime into, it was red. And, I see the logic, I have to say. I get what you're saying, but it's still kind of cool. There we go. And sure you know what's coming now. Here is the green version, which stands out a little bit actually, as there's not as much paint on this guy as the other two Bapes, but I still think he's pretty cool. Of course, this one is heavily KO'd. There's a very prominent KO of this green one doing the rounds, which you can typically spot because it's they actually they did a remold KO, I should say, of MP-10, whereas actually this version is a repaint of MP-10B, which I'll show you in just a moment. And MP-10B is the black Decepticon version. So a lot of them have, the original MP-10 has a molded Autobot logo on this left shoulder, and they removed it for MP-10B. And just had a flat surface and painted, or tampoed, I should say, on the Decepticon logo. And so, it's only a slight difference, but of course that is smooth just there where they've put the Bape logo. So yeah, technically this is a repaint of MP-10B, if you wanted to be really, really, anal about it. Whereas the KOs all did a straight repaint of MP-10. So they put the Bape logo over here, and they kept the Autobot logo there, rather than get rid of it. So it's an easy spot, but I think they got cleverer with it as they went down the line. And by the time they got to the black version, I believe anyway, I've not really looked into it in too much detail, but I think they sorted that out. So there you go. So that's some of the more weird and wonderful MP-10s that you're likely to see out there. Let's check out the two green versions together. There we go. Just set them to one side. Sorry, I'm just being careful with these guys. There we go. So yeah, two green Optimus Primes for your collection. Very weird, but yeah, I love them. Okay, a few more to go. I'm going to go through them all. Why not? Let's do it. So we've got the black version. So this is MP-10B that I was just talking about. This is the one with the, where they took the Autobot logo off. Interestingly, yeah, that's not molded either on this one. So this is actually the same thing with the smooth arm just there. Whereas, same as this, where it's just a tampo, that Autobot logo on this guy. So that's interesting. Don't know why they've done it that way, but hey. So there's MP-10B, really shiny. I think he looks great. Here is the more recent MP-711, so-called because it was a 7-Eleven tie-in, which is a chain of convenience stores or what have you in Japan. A lot of people really, how to put it, really dismissed this one, I guess, because of the 7-Eleven tie-in. I think they're kind of like, oh, that's just a bit of a joke or what have you. But the interesting thing about this design is that actually it really represents Ultra Magnus, in terms of, obviously the inner robot on the original Ultra Magnus toy was a white Prime, white Optimus Prime, as many people will know. With classically, it's always been portrayed with the blue mouth plate and what have you. Now, all the promo pictures that they released of this, or certainly a lot of them, had the 7-Eleven logo on the shoulder just here, but it turns out to just be a sticker that accompanies that release. And they also give you an Autobot sticker, which I have never applied, but hey ho. And I think what's interesting is every time I share a picture of this, at least a couple of people will comment saying, which one is that? Or if I do a group shot, they will say, oh, you don't have MP-711, when it's right there in plain view. And it's because of I think not many people seem to realize that the 7-Eleven logo is an optional sticker. You don't have to apply it. And I think it would be more desirable in a lot of collectors' eyes if indeed that was more widely known. But hey, there you go. Full of the facts today about these MP-10s. Look at me. So let's take those two away. Now, we're going to bring in something a bit more unusual now. Here's Lagoon Convoy. There we go. Yeah, this is a really unusual one, very blingy, and possibly one of my personal favorites. This is Eva Convoy. So Lagoon Convoy, of course, is a homage to the episode from the original cartoon, where they all go to the Golden Lagoon, and as Beachcomber originally discovers this Golden Lagoon that makes them basically impenetrable, and then the Decepticons get in there as well, and all kinds of stuff happens. But yeah, so this is actually a kind of sort of representation of Optimus's look from that, if you will. These smokestacks really do. It's a common thing on a lot of them. I noticed on this one, these seem really tight, which is nice. My original MP-10, they will not stay up either. But yeah, I do like this one, although a lot of people worry about the chrome on this one. I haven't had any chipping so far. I mean, legitimately, I think it still looks, in really good shape. I have transformed it a couple of times at least. Looks really nice. Of course, it doesn't have gold chrome in every area, so it is a little bit mismatched. It's kind of got a slightly Caramac look to it, as people are often keen to point out. But still, it's a fun thing, nonetheless. This guy is just superb. I mean, possibly before the Atmos Safari tie-ins came in, it would have taken the title of most unusual MP-10 repaint. But maybe it's been overshadowed now. It depends on your take, to be honest. But yeah, it's a tie-in with Evangelon, of course, and it's the color scheme, the purple and green color scheme of the main sort of robotic life form that you see in that. I'll be completely upfront. I'm not big on Evangelon and the lore and all of that kind of stuff. Again, I just like the look of the robot, to be completely honest. Very, very cool. The trailer for this one is superb as well, has to be said. So really, really nice one. So we'll put those to one side. Just a couple more to go. Right, let's look at some of the Hasbro versions. We have number one, this old classic, which a lot of people will be familiar with. This is Year of the Horse, Optimus Prime, released obviously in conjunction with you know, with the year on the calendar, Year of the Horse. And yeah, a lot of people know this one because a lot of people will tell you that it is their masterpiece Optimus Prime, you know, their MP-10. You know, people couldn't necessarily either find or afford or what have you the sort of regular version at the time, so they got Year of the Horse, which I think was cheaper on release. And yes, and a lot of people have this one, and it's weird because it's got, you know, gold chrome. If you look at the face on this one, especially, you know, it's got the kind of black bit around the eyes, which looks amazing. It has to be said, it really is quite striking. A lot of people say this looks like Generation 2 Prime, or at least it would if it didn't have the gold chrome. And I have seen a couple of attempts to strip the gold chrome back to silver, and that always looks quite impressive as well. And yeah, I can see what people are saying. There is a kind of G2 vibe about this guy. Obviously, it's got the slightly unusual Autobot logo there as well. So there's that dude. Then there is another unusual one. This is Shattered Glass. So these are all of these, the ones that I'm showing you now are Hasbro versions. This is Shattered Glass. So obviously, you know, it is an Autobot, but in this world, the Autobots are evil. Hence, it's got, you know, different color scheme. It's got the cracked mirror just there as well. Really like the colors on this guy. He's got the red eyes. Really like the colors on this guy. He is bare plastic. And actually, he's the only one that doesn't have any chrome. So even like the, you know, the, what's the word I'm looking for? The grill and what have you here is not chrome. You know, it's all just bare plastic. So, you know, he does look a little bit less premium for that, I guess, but still really nice overall. And the you know, window does look cool. And then finally, last but not least, you have the more recent Ghostbusters version. So, you know, a bit like they did Ectratron, and now they're doing Gigawatt as well as tie-ins. You know, this is the similar one in that collaborative series. This is MP-10. Is it MP-10GB, or have I made that up? I would need to double check, but there you go. It's Ghostbusters anyway. Is the tie-in you can see from the logo. So officially licensed. You know, tie-in with Ghostbusters, which is really cool. And actually a very nice deco all by itself. I mean, some people will be quick to dismiss this one and say, you know, that it's a bit silly or naff or whatever. And, you know, fine, maybe it is, but it's all toys at the end of the day, isn't it? So, and actually really nice deco. I really like the translucent red on here. I think that looks great. Kind of eerie, sort of yellowy green tint on there. That looks good too. And, you know, if it wasn't a Ghostbusters tie-in, it would be a nice looking deco all the same. This guy has got some different parts. So because you've got the backpack just there, proton pack, I should say, and newly molded parts such as the gun. That's been quite remolded actually to make it look a little bit more like a Ghostbusters weapon. So yeah, really, really cool. But probably the most extensive remolding overall on any of the MP-10 designs, including some of the other bits that comes with it. So, so yeah, there you go. That's the final little lineup. So we'll put those to one side as well. So, you know, lots of MP-10s, all different. Really no two are the same, it's fair to say. And again, you know, you might be a bit dismissive of this as a, a collecting pursuit, and that's fine. I don't expect everybody to you know, be as excited about it as I am, but I really dig it. And for my part, I think, you know, the new MP-10 Duck is looking great. Well, I just had a little fiddle with him off camera as well, and again, the joints are really super tight, and you know, the whole thing just feels very premium. So I'm certainly pleased with him overall, it has to be said. Well, now it's time to go through transformation. Now, as with my recent Fans Hobby Athena video, I'm going to speed up the transformation for this video, just you know, really to help keep things moving a little bit. But I will publish it separately as a normal speed. So, you know, if you're unfamiliar with the MP-10 transformation, or you just fancy sitting through it in detail, then you can check that out should you wish. Otherwise, here we go. Right, that's transformation done, so let's take a quick look at the vehicle mode. I mean, first thing to say, just in regards to transformation, oh, forgot to pop those bits out. Anybody that's watching the transformation video alone might pick me up on that. Just the the little rear view mirrors. Hey ho. But yeah, first thing to say on transformation was that surprisingly tight joints. I mean, really, really tight. Obviously, earlier I was struggling with that matrix compartment, but I did find that even like the legs were very difficult to collapse, and other bits as well. So just really, 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 really tight joints. Did manage to get the matrix open eventually, the matrix canopy, so actually you can just see underneath there that there it is in place. So if you did feel a little bit cheated earlier, well, there you go. And you can watch the transformation video to see it happen as well. So vehicle mode, really tightly held together, really unusual. Again, it's got those salmon-coloured wheels, which is quite the statement. Atmos written along the side here from the arms, Autobot logo. Very quirky. I mean, probably more than the robot mode, actually. I'll just bring it up here so you can see the front of it. But yeah, probably arguably more of a statement than the robot mode, this one, because this is where you can really see the mix match colors standing out a lot more. Really love this chrome. That looks really nice, and again the burnt kind of copper chrome on the back as well. So yeah, and hangs together really nicely. It does look a little bit patchwork, particularly from the top. Quite a strange design, but yeah, it's kind of, it is unusual, but I really like it. And as a comparison here, you may have noticed he was a bit absent earlier, but let's bring in the Hasbro MP-10, well, Hasbro Masterpiece Optimus Prime, I should say. And there we go. There's the two of them together. And this is the version with obviously the lighter blue, unpainted red main section, red body. But I still really like him. I think he looks nice despite the lack of paint. So yeah, there you go. So overall, vehicle mode is looking pretty cool. Shame there's no trailer for this guy, but at the same time, it saves a lot of space and probably a lot of expense as well. So, I guess on balance, it's probably a good thing that they don't all come with trailers. But yeah, really like the vehicle mode. Looks great. And indeed, final impressions on the toy itself, very pleased with it. It was worth the 3.5-month wait. Let's put it that way. 14th version of this toy overall, and hey, keep bringing them on. That's what I say. So that's MP-10DC. Bit of a weird one, but I can't help but love it. Thanks again for watching, and if you haven't yet, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out my other videos whilst you're at it. Quick final shout out to everyone who already supports me on Patreon. The details are coming up at the end of the video if you'd like to do the same. Otherwise, that's it from me, so enjoy the rest of your day. TTFN.